Hello, YouTube. I'm going to take you on a nice trip downtown while I talk about this magnificent excuse for a beginner bike. The thing I'm going to do right off the bat is tell you about the question I get asked most about this bike, and that is, how's the overheating problem? Which is a really weird question because this bike does not have an overheating problem. I don't know if people think that overheating means just getting really hot, but overheating means getting hot enough to hurt the engine. And I don't know if you can see my display, but there's a temperature gauge, and there's an obvious line, and when it goes over that line, that means it's overheating and it's hurting the engine. But it never gets close to that line, ever. It's got its radiator, the fan comes on all the time, keeps it nice and cool. There's no problems with that. So, I mean, this bike does get hot. All bikes get hot. Some are just better at masking it than others, and you can feel it in your legs, but it's not that bad. I've had this bike for a couple months now. Right now it's reading 1,045 miles on the clock, and that is exciting. Alright, let's talk about the ergonomics. Can we talk about the ergonomics? Ergonomics on this thing. First of all, it is noticeably sportier in riding position than any of the other beginner bikes. But yeah, as you can probably see, the bars are even with the triple tree coming out from the sides. They don't have that 2-inch riser or whatever that most of the other bikes have. The seat on this bike is very harsh. It's got very little padding, so it's not too bad. It doesn't really start to bother me unless I'm on it for well over an hour. But you can get their gel seats, and their gel seats cost $120, which is really, really inexpensive for a gel seat. The seat height is pretty nice. I'm about 6'1", and on my Ninja 250 when I had it, I felt just really cramped. But on this thing, I've got nice room, and I like it. So it's good for tall riders. It's not too tall for short riders. But when you look at it, it looks like it's got a really low seat height, and then you step on it, you throw a leg over, and a lot of people are really surprised. The number one thing that people comment about when they first see this bike in person, or when they first sit on this bike, is how unbelievably skinny this thing is. This thing is ridiculously skinny, and that's what you get when you have a single-cylinder motorcycle. You don't have that extra cylinder taking up extra width on the bike, and they can just make it extremely skinny, and it is really nice. It's really weird if you're not used to it, but my legs are just really close together. You can grip the tank really nice. The mirrors are okay. It takes a little getting used to, and you got to adjust them just right, and you still kind of have to move your arms to see. But they have these mirror plates now that raise your mirrors up a little bit so you can see better out of them. And I've been thinking about getting some of those, but most people just take their mirrors off anyway. Next, I want to talk about the maneuverability of this thing. I don't know about the rear tire compared to the other 300s, but the rear tire on this guy, I feel like it's a little bit wider. And this bike is so light. It's unbelievably light. This thing weighs 30 pounds less than the Ninja 250. About 30 pounds, I think, if I remember correctly. That is crazy, but that's what you get when you have one cylinder. You don't have to have all that extra metal to make up the second cylinder and that second piston, and you just get a really light machine. But yeah, with these Diablo Rossi tires on here, this thing just flicks around like it's unreal. When I first got it, I thought there was something wrong with it. That's how easy it was to flick around. I couldn't believe it. The display on this bike is pretty nice. It's got the tachometer across the top there. It's got the gear indicator right over here. It has the odometer over here. Speedometer right in the middle, digital. I didn't think I'd like the digital tach on top, but it's kind of grown on me. It's got this shift light right here. You can adjust the shift light to come on whenever you want. You can have it start blinking at one speed and then stay on the next whenever you want, or you can just have it stay on or blink or whatever. It's pretty versatile. You've got your fuel gauge down here, you've got your temp gauge over here. Right in the middle here, it tells you how long you've been riding and how fast you've been going on average. And then if you push the mode button over here, you can change what that does. It'll show you your gas mileage, it'll show you the time. Well, it shows the time anyway right down here, but it'll show all of that stuff. It's got a whole bunch of different functions. The bad thing about it though is it shows liters per mile. You can't get it in miles per gallon. I guess that wasn't a very long downtown ride, but that'll have to do for you. Alright, ABS. This bike comes with ABS standard. There's a little ABS light right there, and it comes on when the ABS isn't on all the time. It only comes on when you pull the brake hard enough and it senses the back tire or is starting to lock up, or the front tire starting to lock up. Then it'll come on and you'll know, because that little light will come on. But I've hit the brakes pretty hard a few times and it didn't come on. So you've really got to be working it to get that on. Also, you can turn it off. I know you don't see a button for that, but there is a hidden button, and I'm not going to show you where it is because it took me a good hour of research to find out where that button is. And you just push it once and boom, your ABS is off. So if you don't want a bike with ABS and that was one of your factors for getting this bike, you can turn it off, so you can still get the bike, don't worry. Another thing I really like about this bike is these little indicator icons. They will light up at night. They're backlit, so all of these little white indicators, they light up at night so you can see everything. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I think it's really cool. I like it. You've got your pass bright flash up here, you've got your high-low, you've got your turn signals, horn, emergency off, power, ignition start. The controls are pretty much the same as the Ninja 250. I would talk about the looks of this bike, but looks are an opinion. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. Has upside down forks in the front, preload adjustable, big shock in the back. I think preload adjustable. I haven't messed with it very much, but these upside down forks in the front, no other beginner bike comes with that. Beginner bike. That's crazy. These are awesome. The suspension is really nice on this thing. Plus, if you wanted to dish out $2,000, you can get a complete Olin suspension upgrade. But I don't want to do that. This is just fine for me. I haven't had any problems with it. I've got it set pretty soft, because some of our roads around here are a little questionable. Next, I want to talk about the power of this guy. The power is incredible. 44 horsepower. That is ridiculous, especially for a single cylinder small bore motorcycle. It is crazy. And speaking of single cylinder, you would think that this motorcycle would be vibrating the crap out of you. It does not. KTM has been doing this for a long time. They've got their countershaft game on point. They know how to do it. Keep the vibrations out of here. It does really start to vibrate at about 8,000 RPM, but you're not really going to stay in 8,000 RPM very often. Going 80 on the highway in 6th gear, you're still at 7,000. 5th gear, you're right under 8. So it's still not a big deal. There's no noticeable difference in the low RPMs from the Ninja 250. Like I said, they've got their counterbalance technology on point. My hands don't go numb, my feet don't go numb, my balls are just fine. You know how that is. Anyway, back to the power. The power on this thing is unreal. Plus, paired with how light it is, I'm going to put some stats up on the screen of all the little bikes compared to each other, weight, power, torque, and you can just judge for yourself how the competition stacks up. I'm telling you, I mean, I've ridden the Ninja 300 and it was pretty cool. All the people I hear that ride the R3, the majority of them say that they'd rather have the Ninja 300. And I thought that would be the only competition for this bike, the R3, but I think people more want it because they're Yamaha fanboys. And I know Chase on Two Wheels did that review where he said, oh, the Yamaha, the R3 is the best of all the little bikes. First of all, I knew he was going to say that. He's completely biased. Second of all, he has not ridden the RC390, and if he did, I don't know if it'd change his opinion, because he's so biased on Yamaha, it's ridiculous. But I'm telling you, this bike blows the other bikes out of the water. It's not even a competition. I'll even throw up stats for the CBR 500, because this thing can outrun the CBR 500. When I first bought this bike, the transmission, the shifting, it was a little crunchy. That's how I'm going to describe it, crunchy. And it wasn't super pleasant. I've never had any misshifts that weren't my fault, and I've never had any false positives on the neutral. But yeah, it was pretty crunchy. And I heard that it was. But then I changed when I did the first oil change, completely changed it. This thing is smooth now. I mean, it's not like Honda smooth, because you can't be Honda smooth. The clutch lever, it's on par with the Ninja 250. I heard it was really heavy, but you know, I'm not noticing any heaviness unless I'm just sitting in traffic 24/7 with my hand on the clutch. Gotta get to class here soon. If I had to have some dislikes about the bike, because I know most people, they review something they've owned and they're like, oh, there's nothing bad about it. There are some things I don't like about the bike. I don't like the rear reservoir, brake reservoir leaking like it did. I also dislike the small tank capacity. This thing has 10 liters, which is 2.6 gallons. I mean, it's not terrible, especially since I've been consistently getting 75, 80 miles per gallon and I haven't actually tried to see how high I can get the gas mileage. So that's not a giant ordeal. I also don't like how the tank cover is plastic. I like my tank to be nice and metal, but that's one of the reasons I almost didn't get this. But that's just aesthetics, and that's a personal preference. I mean, it's good if you crash, there's a better chance of you not denting your tank, which is a lot harder to replace than just a plastic panel. It also annoys me that, like I said, it only says liters per mile. It doesn't say, you can't get it in miles per gallon. I wish the red line was above 10,000, because I'm used to that Ninja with the, 13,000 RPM red line. I like that. Sometimes 10, it just feels like it gets there a little too fast. There aren't many complaints with this bike. They built this bike to put all the other small bikes in their place, and they did it well. It says, hey, I'm the master. I mean, the other bikes are good, don't get me wrong. I would stay away from a Honda. I feel like you don't get very much, and you still pay about the same amount as the other brands. I mean, it's not the most comfortable of the small bikes, but if you plan on upgrading to a Super Sport later on, you shouldn't be worried about comfort. You might as well get used to it now, because those are very uncomfortable. Scooting around town at about 45, 50, this thing likes to stay right in 4th gear. You could probably pop it into 5th and still be in the power. This thing has pretty good torque numbers. It's got some good grunt down low, so it's good around town, and it's pretty nice up high. It's got that grunt down low, but then when you hit 6,000, 6,500 RPM, it really just slaps you right in the teeth and takes off. You full throttle this puppy right off the line, 1st gear, and it feels like it wants to bring that front wheel up. And the sound of this thing, I think it sounds better stock than any of the other small bikes. And also a thing I don't like is the lack of aftermarkets for this bike. Not too much is available yet. I mean, there are some decent pipes you can get, but they're all side hanging pipes, and I like the hidden look of this one, so I probably won't get one of those until someone comes out with a good hidden pipe. And on these smaller bikes, most of the time, I think that the aftermarket pipes make them sound worse. They make them louder, but I think that it makes them sound a lot nastier, I guess. I mean, they don't make a good sound. Like Rocket Jockey 87's Honda 599, that thing makes a gorgeous sound. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I was riding with him, and I took off full throttle, and he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe how fast this little thing goes, and it's pretty quick. It'll keep up with the big bikes for a little bit. Anyway, like I said, about 4th gear around town, 5th gear if you want better gas mileage. 6th gear is almost specifically reserved for highways, it seems like, because I can be going 60 in 5th gear, and it's completely comfortable on this thing. I don't feel like I need to upshift. I'm sitting at probably about 55, 6,000 RPM. It's just a good all-around bike. For some reason, this bike, from what I've seen, hasn't been super popular here in the US, or maybe it's just hard to get, because I know that it's hard to get around here, and mine is basically the only one in this state still. I think there's one up in St. Louis now. I don't think they've sold it, but I think they have one up there. And the whole pipe situation, this thing already, KTM did a pretty darn good job on this stock exhaust setup, and people are having a hard time outdoing it from what I've heard, and that's why there's not a whole lot of aftermarket, because it's hard to outdo it. They've already made it so good. I think I've covered pretty much everything. I guess that's it for me. Sorry it was so long. If I missed something, sorry about that. Go ahead and shoot me a comment and I'll definitely answer any questions you might have. Be sure to check out some of my other videos also. I've got more information on the KTM on my channel. I've just got some ramblings about different things. Sometimes I give away stickers. I just put some stickers on quite a few different motorcycles in the MSU parking lot today. Sorry if you guys didn't want stickers, but you got them. Alright guys, see you on the next one.